It's I like it. It's nice and
I got her from the farm. I take it with her.
yeah.
I keep it.
I don't have to keep on.
No one's gonna just kept the secret like forever. It's like they let it out. Yeah.
He doesn't like them on pizza.
That is awesome. It's unfortunate. We love food.
Just more than 8 years more like background for everything. So I got a organizer.
We're gonna do the math on this one. Yeah, I'm trying to
Right, and that's the way to do it.
1 year before World War II.
Yes, so yeah.
No, thank you for sharing.
Okay.
We're starting. We're starting. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We're going to start on page 1 of all things. Yedid Nefesh, additional soul we get on Shabbat, and a special welcome to the extended family of Jordan Burla, who is becoming Bat Mitzvah this weekend, and she'll be leading a few things tonight. All right, we're going to do the full Yedid Nefesh on page 1. Yedid Nefesh Avarahaman Mishochadecha El Retzonecha Yarusadecha Kemo Hayal Yishtahabel El Mul Hadorecha Yerablo Yedidutecha Minofetzu Vecholtam Adurnae Ziv HaOlam Nafshi Cholat Avatecha Ana El Marevana Beharola Noam Zivecha Az Titchazek V'Titrabek V'Haidala Simchat Olam V'Tikeruna Rachamecha V'Chuzana Aver Ahuvecha Ki Zekama Nitzov Nitzavti Liro V'Tiferet Uzecha Elecha Nalibi Kusana Ve'altitalam Igalena Ufros Chavivi Alai Etzukat Shlomecha Ta'ir Eretz Mikrotecha Na'ila Benismecha Ma'ereo All right, we are going to turn to page 5. Shiru Ladonai Shir Adon Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Ladonai Haaretz Shemo Batzu Miyom Leyom Yeshuato Sapru Magoyim Kevoto Bechol Ha'amim Nivota Kiyano Good ruach. All right, way to go. I'm going to go to page 9. Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Nimrod Asa Hoshia Lo Yemino Uzro Akocho Ai Ai Evodia Adonai Yeshuato Le'er HaGoyim Ki Natzikato Zachor Chasto Le'elunato Le'vei Yisrael Ra'u Ko'os Le'aretz En Yeshua Eloheinu Ariu Adonai Kol Haaretz Kitzu Le'vareinu Zohiru Zamru Adonai Inosh Ve'inosh Ve'kol Zimra Malach Tzotzrot Ve'kol Shofar Ariu Lefnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayam Kulo Tevel Ve'yosheva Ay 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 De'arot Yichachucha Yacharim Yadeinu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Nishbot HaAretz Yishbot Tevel Ve'tzedek Ve'amim Ve'mesharim Ay 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 Page 12. Page 13. It's more than done. Chadodi, first two and last two stanzas. Shabbat ושלום הטרפה, גם בשמחה ובשמחה, טוב אמוני הסגולה, בואי קלה בואי קלה. לך לך פני פני שבת ונעלה, we say to any mourners in our midst, may God comfort you, all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. May be seated, page 19. Mizmor shir yom hashabat, tov le'adonai le'adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, le'agid b'boker hasdecha, be'erev natcha b'leilot, alei asor ve'aleina ve'aleina yom yechito, mizmor shir b'yom hashabat, tov le'adonai le'adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Continue silently, 19 and 20. Tzadik katamar yifrach yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach. Ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh, ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh, ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh yizkeh. Ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh, ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh, ka'eretz ba'alon yizkeh yizkeh. Ki Adonai tzuri ve'alo v'atavo, Adonai malach ge'od lavesh, lavesh Adonai osita zar, avtikon tevel ba'altimot, nachon ki sachar me'az v'amat, nasu nerot Adonai, nasu nerot golam, nasu nerot dovyam. Mikol mayim, mayim rabbim adirim, mishmerei Adir b'marom Adonai, Elotecha melech numeron, Leitecha nama koresh Adonai le'orech yamim. Please rise briefly for the Baruch Hu, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch le'olam va'ed. May be seated. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam asher b'dvaro ma'arim ha'ravim. V'yom v'layla g'ler mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. V'yom v'vei layla v'avdil ben yom v'vein layla. Adonai tzvahot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ari v'aravim.
Bless you.
Ahavat olam ve'Yisrael. So Page 25, the Shema. Shema.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha
bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha v'hayu
Advarim ha'eleh Asher Elohim etzavecha Hayom levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam V'shivtecha v'beitecha U'lechtecha b'derech U'shofecha u'b'kumecha U'shartam le'ot al yadecha Ve'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha U'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha U'yisharech. We continue on our own, pages 27 through 29. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 32. ומלכות טוב רצון קראו עליהם, ויושב בני ישראל חנשירה בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם. מי כמוך, ואלים אדוני, מי כמוך, נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עוזי פלא, נורא תהילות, עוזי פלא. מלכותך ובניך, כיום כפי משה, זה לכנו ואמרו, אדוני עמו, ולעולם חיים, וברוך אתה למלך על ישראל. מי כמוך, האלים אדוני, מי כמוך, נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושי פלא, נורא תהילות, עושי פלא, נורא תהילות, עושי פלא. 33. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Leshalom, V'ha'anidenu Makeinu Lechaim. Hashivenu Osalenu Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Abrei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'Kol Yisrael, V'Al Yerushalayim. Page 34, please rise. V'Shamru. V'Shamru, B'nei Yisrael,
Sheshet Yamim Asadonai, Asadonai, El HaShamayim V'El HaAretz V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat V'Asot Et HaShabbat V'Torah Berit Olam U'Bayom Ha'Shvi Shabbat V'Nafash, Shabbat V'Nafash, Shabbat V'Nafash. B'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, V'Asot Et HaShabbat, V'Torah Berit Olam.
Remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish, and we invite Jordan. Yeah, come on up. I need to grab a kippah for you. Thank you. Todd, pass it. Oh no, okay. Well, yeah. Here comes one.
Shemay Rabba
Amen.
Amadira Hirkute Yamli Bahute
Bracha Yevod Yomecha U'Chayecha Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ba'agala U'Izman Karim Amen Yesh Rabba Mevorav Rabba
Ishtava, Ari, Narali, Nase, Hatari, Tale, Hala, Shmedi Kusha, Leila, Miko, Hirata, Shirata,
Tushvechata v'nech emata, Ta'amiran me'Allah. Amen.
Yashikoah. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 42.
Yes,
Say shalom imroma, Uya say shalom aleinu, Ve'yakov Yisrael, Ve'yakov Yeshvei Ve'inu,
And we're going to go right to Kaddish Shalem today. So once again, we're going to invite Jordan to come on up. Page 53. Amen.
Amen. Yeshmei Rabban Gora, Yom Olam Yom Maya Yipara. Amen.
Jordan, looking forward to much more tomorrow. So in place of the Drash on Friday night, and there are a few guests tonight, I've been doing the history of the synagogue mostly through letters and minutes and things like that still. And we're doing all the rabbis now. This is our third week of Rabbi Harold Schulweiss. All the other ones got 1 week. He gets at least 5. And we are, he was the rabbi here between 1953 and 1970. Many of you may have heard of him from other areas as well. In this book, written by his successor at Valley Beth Shalom in Encino, where he went after here, they talk about sort of the 3 things he hoped to accomplish. There's the communal Schulweiss, the communal voice, the theological voice, and we've gone over those 2 already. The third one is the prophetic voice. But I'm actually going to do that next week and the week after. There's a 4th voice that at least as it appears in the minutes and the letters that I've seen, that he's not given much credit for in this book, but that he cared quite a bit about, which kind of goes with the theological voice. He cared about the religious voice, the prayer voice, services, which is why, and I did already explain last week, one of the things that he did as soon as he got here was he got the cantor fired because he didn't feel like he was encouraging participation enough. Now, whether that's I don't think it's because he was operatic, as you'll see in just a second. But during that first year in 1953, he did work with Cantor Halevi, and they were talking about having a mixed choir. All right, so, and in the minutes, this is, I believe this is in the minutes, he gives a letter to the board from an opinion written from the Jewish Theological Seminary, the Conservative Rabbinical School, and a guy named Max Art lists synagogues that do and don't have mixed choirs. But he says we should have one because he says, my personal opinion is that the objection to a woman's voice is based upon, and forgive the language, I'm using the original language, Oriental idea that a woman's voice is an abomination and is an insult to Jewish womanhood. And since there's no reason today for assuming a man's voice is more acceptable to God than a woman's voice, therefore we should have a mixed choir. So they went with that at some point, but anyway, that wasn't enough for the cantor to stay. He got him fired. And so in 1954, they hire a cantor named Lowell Kaplan from Omaha, Nebraska, and they purchase an organ. Now, understand it's a conservative synagogue, but there were many conservative synagogues that had organs in those days. However, Cantor Kaplan, Lowell Kaplan that is, not Richard Kaplan, resigns in 1956 to pursue a career in opera. Right, now, as an aside, well, no, I'll get to that in a second. In 1955 or 56, it's unclear because there's no record in the minutes of when Cantor Simon Cohen was hired, but then he starts being referred to in the minutes in 1957. Cantor Simon Cohen was very iconic to Temple Beth Abraham as well. I've heard from some people that he and Schulweis didn't get along. I don't actually believe that, because if they didn't get along, then Cantor Cohen wouldn't have stayed very long, and he stayed a long time. And for all of Schulweis's brilliance, his sort of his off the beam of warmth wasn't as good, and his work with children was pretty much non-existent. He didn't like to do that. That was, he was a rabbi for the adults. It was for other people to deal with the children. He never even set foot in the religious school for the most part. But Cantor Cohen was all about the kids and all about the people. He was incredibly warm. Now, as an aside for here, and I'm not sparing, you can read about this stuff too, he was involved in some controversy as well. He had a child with a much younger woman, and the cantor, not Rabbi Schulweis, this is Cantor Simon Cohen. No, he got divorced. It's unclear which happened first, but when he got the much younger woman pregnant, he died while she was pregnant, and she gave birth as a single mother. Now, interestingly enough, that the daughter of that marriage ended up teaching preschool here a few years ago, which is pretty amazing. And her name was Simone Cohen, named after Cantor Simon Cohen. So we had her. We're going to see all this come around. I digress from the services part for a second, because in 1962, he also engaged an executive director named Jerry Danzig, who was 32 years old. He came from Kansas City. And Danzig eventually became a rabbi himself, was actually hired instead of me, but that was much later in his career. He was the rabbi at Beth David in Saratoga for many years, and then he retired, and they talked him into coming out of retirement to come here. But he said, nah, it's too, when he took the job, then he's like, it's way too expensive, and it's way too much work, so forget it. Yeah, he was retired in Southern California at that point. So, but yeah, I'm done. But he was, he had been Schulweis' executive director again, or helped out there. So he'd been around. He also was the religious school director at times. He did a whole bunch of things here. But the only reason I mention that is because Danzig's daughter, Adina Danzig, was also a member years later too. And so, which leads me to tell you, and that's not the end of tonight's story, Schulweis's granddaughter is a new member of Temple Beth Abraham. And she has a kid in the Gan. So it is, it's pretty cool.
Rabbi, there's a picture of Cantor Cohen in this.
in this month's only.
Of the Omer.
And you'll also find him on the confirmation wall as well. So now, also in 1960, well, I'll get to that in a second. 1956, in the minutes, Schulweis talks about how we need to redo the sanctuary, and they engage an architect for redoing the sanctuary. And I want to just tell you about some of the symbols that meant the most to Rabbi Schulweis that are in our large sanctuary. One of them is the burning bush that's above the bima, and that's because to him it represents the opposite of burnout. The Jewish spirit never burns out. He calls it the indefatigable nature of the Jewish people. And yeah, absolutely, I mean, choice is just amazing language, use of language. And so that's one of the symbols. On the other side of the bima is the 6-branched menorah. And some of you have heard me talk about these things before. A menorah has 7 branches, a Hanukkah has 9, menorah has 7, but it's a symbol of the ancient temple, and it implies that the world has been redeemed and that the world has been perfected. And since it's not, he wanted 6 and not 7, meaning that it's our task to perfect the world. The other thing that he's very proud of are the words on the ark. Now, if you go and you look at them, you won't be able to read them unless you know what's already there, because they're all scrunched together and you can't tell what's a word and what isn't. But it's the quote from the prophet Micah, "What does God require of you? Only to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God." And you think, well, that's a famous quote. But what he told me was that no, yes, the famous quote, but nobody had that on the ark before him. It was always Dami Lifnei Ata Omed, know before whom you stand. And he put that on there. Now lots of people, including Temple Sinai, in their refurbishment in the late 2000s, in the late aughts, put the very same thing on their ark. Meaningful quote. The other big thing that you'll notice, of course, are the windows after the holidays. He liked that as well, but it was those other 3 symbols that were most meaningful. So he really did care about religious objects, and he was very much an artist himself. He was a poet. He had a great sense of arts. That was part of it as well. He also was very concerned about the music. Simon Cohen did a good job, particularly at engaging participation and teaching the children, but he wanted musical accompaniment. And he was convinced that the harp was the answer. Okay? I guess the organ didn't do it. And there's several different years where he's trying to get a harp instituted as part of the service. It's very controversial. He thinks the young people will come for the harp, which maybe at that time they would have. And then there's a reference in 1967 to an instrument called the balkora, but I don't think that's a real instrument. There's an instrument called the kora, and there's the balalaika, and I don't think there's one that's both of those things, at least as far as I could tell through Google. But it's some large string instrument that isn't a harp that he felt would make it more enjoyable. He wanted to experiment, and in 1968, the Ritual Committee did agree to try out musical instruments on Friday night only. They also approved the triennial cycle of the Torah reading at that time, so apparently for a long time we've been using the triennial cycle here. And they rented a harp for $25 per service, which is pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
The rabbi, well, I don't know, by 68 he was probably paid a lot more. I think in 56 he's making 15,000 and the cantor's making 10,000, something like that.
Annually.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a little more Schulweis. We're going to get to his social justice commitments and really interesting things, not next week, because next week Marshall Langford will be leading the services. I will be in town, but I will be leading the teens in the regional BBYO Shabbat in Palo Alto. So I will be not.
They parted the sea.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I had to learn a new Micha Mocha, which I'm not real fond of for this service. But
Quick question,
That are
did that $25 fee include a harpist? Or
that's a great question.
or was it just the harp?
I don't know. Great question. I hope it was for both, because that would be a lot of money. But it literally says a harp in the minute, so whatever. It's possible.
That's what I was wondering.
We have one now. We have a harpist, Jennifer Ellis, fantastic harpist. But anyway, that's enough for now.
What happened to the organ?
I think they got rid of it during that refurbishment, but but maybe they had a different refurbishment. But we definitely don't have it anymore. and there was like a upper there was not just a balcony where people sit. There was like sort of a balcony on the bima as well. I think the organ was up there.
One of the things that I've learned through the interviews I've been doing with the past presidents of the synagogue is that, particularly in the 70s and 80s when membership was really declining, refurbishing the synagogue was something they did pretty often. Like everybody said, one person said, we refurbished the synagogue when I was president, and then I go talk to someone else who was president 5 years later. We refurbished the sanctuary, and so that was viewed as a way to bring in more members, to have it look nicer.
Right, it's amazing how many different people take credit for refurbishing the sanctuary and also for doing the first bat mitzvah. or being the first bat mitzvah or instituting the first. I mean, every rabbi seemed to have done that, but whatever that means. All right, we're going to rise for the Kiddush now. We're going to invite Jordan and Mindy and Ash and Ari to come up. Come on up. And this is grape juice. Mom, get your choice of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishayim b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu. B'shabbat kodsho yahal ratzon yimanu, zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, kiddushon tefillah. V'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher v'tziyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat rodshecha, v'yamalu ratzon im'atzanu. Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh Hashem. L'chaim to life. Take a sip and you can pass by. Family, you can drink from that one too. And if you are near your children or anyone else you feel comfortable blessing, Yisimech Elohim Kasar, Rivka Rachel V'Leah, Yisimcha Elohim K'Ephraim V'Ki Menashe, Yivarecha Adonai V'Yishmerecha, Ve'erecha V'Lecha V'Yisrael. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. Aleinu, page 59, remain standing. Aleinu Take to Aleinu celebration. Shalom, Son, Yodei Haratzon. Velo, Samanu, Krishna, V'Tadama. Shalom, Son, Telkeinu Kahem. Vego, Aleinu, Kechol HaOlam. Barachnu Korim, Umishat Mamim, Uodim. Lifnei Melech, Malchei Amlavim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Showing Rotei Shamayim, Veyosei Haaretz, Umoshan Yikarot, Vashamayim Imam, Ushvinatu Zo, Ushvinatu Zo, Vegam Hei Meromim. Hu Eloheinu, Eino, Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Hagatu, Bezorato, Ve'adatayo, Ve'hashemata, Elohem Avecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Bashamayim, Imam, Ve'al Haaretz, Ve'al Haaretz, Mitachah, Eino. Kakatu b'tor techanaim loch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'er L'melech ha'aretz. Bayom ha'hu, Bayom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends as Yorkshites we observed during the following week. We're thinking especially today of Ronald Abraham, Edward Berkovich, Phyllis Marjorie Cowan, Irma Ice, June Reingold Fleck, Max Gewirtz, Gussie Goldstein, Herbert Goodman, Harry Grossfield, Stuart Handwerger, Jeanette Jager, Jacob Carwatt, Suzanne Claire Caston, Arthur Kelman, Alexander Kleinlehrer, Leon Kraft, Sidney M. Levy, Sarah Lichtenstein, Marie Lorenz, Isaac Marcus, Max Marovitz, Rebecca Millman, Esther Nagar, Mildred Pullman, Dr. Morris Resnick, Joseph Rosenfeld, Herman Roth, Eve Rothman, Staniel Rodi, Joseph Sampson, Mona Scharf, Joseph Shine, Sarah Leah Schneider, Abraham Schaefer, Leah Stamer, Ann Tanner, Jacob Waxman, Cyril Weiss, Eva Weissman. We're in the Shloshim for Lynn Andaman Siegel. Thoughts are with you, Todd. Alfie Gross, George King, and we're in the Shiva for Harvey Braff, the father of Flo Raskin, whose funeral is on the East Coast, and who will be a West Coast Shiva on Wednesday night. Memories of all of them are with us. We ask all those who are in mourning or observing Yorkside, as well as anyone else who choose to do so, to rise for the Mourner's Cottage, page 61. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach yerutei, v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei lechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. V'hei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam v'amen haya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekusha v'yishu. La'elam im kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom v'yirama v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of the people you've come to say Kaddish will be a blessing to you always. Let's say
Amen.
All right, we have a few announcements. There's challah in the back, but tomorrow a big Kiddush lunch following the bat mitzvah of Jordan Berla. So it's going to be exciting, and she'll be leading a whole bunch of stuff, reading Torah and Haftorah and Torah service and Musaf service, and we're very excited to celebrate with you all tomorrow. Also this week, well, there's Mahjong after services tomorrow as well. This week on Thursday night, you have WTBA Girls Night Out, Hanukkah cookies from around the world, 7 p.m. in the Baum Center. You can also come to Montclair Village and see our 20 students from Glebe singing. These are 3rd through 6th graders, and we're going to be singing kind of near Pete's, I believe, Hanukkah songs. And you can also catch them and that's at 6:45 p.m. You can catch them also on Sunday, December 17th, in front at the Piedmont Rec Center, where they'll also be singing Hanukkah songs.
Community Center.
Piedmont Community Center. So pretty exciting stuff. And let's see, what else do we have? I mean, the normal stuff, you know, Minyan and Torah study and gentle yoga and all those good things. Mindy and Ash, want to tell us who came to celebrate with you all?
Hello, everyone. Hello. These are my parents, Harleen and Leonard Hyman. Los Angeles, Virginia, represent. My sister Eve Hyman, also LA, represent. Hey, Tal Jordan, Aria Burla, Ash Burla, Ash's mother, Dolly Burla, her wife, Jeff. They came from a husband. It's okay. It's been a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And they came from where?
So happy
From
to have
Albany,
them from
New York.
Albany, New York. And we have a lot more
It's
family.
warmer.
And we have a lot more family from New York and Vegas and Chicago that'll be here tomorrow.
Excellent. Also, just so you know, for a very small audience, a little free promotion. They own the Brooklyn Roots Gym on Piedmont Avenue, personal training and very cool stuff. All right, visiting.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure meeting you.
You too. We love having you here. We love having you here. Your ruach is fantastic.
It is a blessing.
Blessed to have you. Thank you. We have a few. Visiting us for the first time. They're living in Hayward. We have Micah and Margaret, and originally from Tallahassee, Florida. And they're not that new. They've been here a few times, but just want to reintroduce them. They're fairly new members. We have Jimmy and Emily over there, and they joined and come all the way from Walnut Creek to be with us. So thank you. Great to have you here. Now, also coming from Florida, Orlando, Florida, is my son Jonah, who is on his last winter break from college, as he is a senior. Jonah is also a musician, so he's going to join me on one of the closing songs. I'm doing two, because the first one is this actually song I wrote based on this Parsha by Yitzhak, and I only can really do it once a year. So, and basically just takes the words of Jacob's dream in Hebrew and puts them to song. So it's about Jacob viewing the angels in the angels going up and down the ladder. It's a very short song. I sometimes do it twice, I only do it once. Yitzhak Yaakov miver shava vayelech harana vayachalom vehine sulam nagia hashamana vehine malachei Elohim olim veyodim Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati Hema norah b'makom hazeh inzeki im bet Elohim Sha'ar Shamayim. At the end, that's when he says, surely God was in this place and I did not know it. This is none other than the gateway to God. Avett Brothers song tonight, of course, with my son Jonah. And this song, it's called Myrrh in the City, which does not really give away what the song is about. It's about what the three Parshiot last week, this week, and next week is about. It's about parents trying to love both children and everything that goes along with that, and the family conflict and the love that surrounds all that. So it's, like I said, it's called Myrrh in the City.
So who wrote it?
The Avett Brothers.
Okay.
Who else?
So no one died?
No one died. Well, Leah Kunkel died this week. Now, probably nobody knows who that is. She was a Jewish singer. She's Mama Cass's sister, and she is on several recordings of James Taylor and Art Garfunkel and other people, although not any of the songs that are terribly familiar, with the exception of James Taylor's version of Handyman.
What's her name again?
Leah Kunkel. But anyway, but I have him, and he just arrived this afternoon. Yeah. So. If I get murdered in the city, don't go revenging in my name. One person dead from such is plenty. No need to go get locked away. When I leave your arms, the things that I think of, no need to get over alarmed. I'm coming home.
I wonder which brother is better. Which one my parents love the most. I sure to get in lots of trouble. They seem to let the other go. A tear fell from my father's eyes. I wondered what my dad would say. He said,
I love you, and I'm proud of you both in so many different ways.
if I get murdered in the city, go read the letter in my desk.
Don't bother with all my belongings, but pay attention to the list.
Make sure my mother knows I love her.
Make sure your brother knows the same. Always remember there was nothing worth sharing like the love that let us share our name. Always remember there was nothing worth sharing like the love that lets us share our name. Shabbat Shalom.